Hey guys, Ash here. How are you doing today? I wanted to check in with you on my main account, Town Hall 11, and I'm very close to max, guys, so I figured we'd take a look. I have my very first Archer Tower level 14 going right now. I was just able to farm it up today, so I thought in today's episode we'd do something a little bit different as we first look to see how far, in fact, I am away from being totally 100% maxed out. You can see 21 level 10 walls, and then, of course, I do have my one level 1 wall. I'm not sure if I have the heart to ever upgrade that little wooden wall. It looks so good there in the center of the base. You can see it right next to my clan castle. But the idea here is I need to finish my baby dragons and my giants now to level 8, and then I will be 100% max once I do those walls and the archer towers as well. So in today's episode, what I did all day today was I basically used different farming compositions, and we're going to show the replays, and we'll discuss their strengths and weaknesses and when I would use these farming comps as opposed to another one at Town Hall 11. A lot of these also apply to Town Hall 10, and before I get started, I should mention that I'm not covering any inexpensive army comps here. Anybody knows how to do giants and goblins or mass goblins or anything like that in lower level leagues, but if you're like me, I really prefer attacking on shield because I don't have the type of time to attack all day long, so I can only usually get maybe about 4 to 7 attacks in a day, so I don't mind the longer, heavier army cook time, and I love farming up in Titan 1 because I get that 300k loot bonus, which is absolutely fantastic. 600,000 golden elixir on top of whatever I'm farming is absolutely a huge gain. Sometimes it's more than I'm getting in some of these attacks. So the first strategy I want to share with you guys is this mass miner dark elixir farming strategy. Now, of course, it can be used for farming gold and a little bit of elixir, but miners are pretty expensive when it comes to elixir cost. A max level miner costs 6,000 elixir, and I am using healers as well to create that funnel for the miners. So the 4 healers obviously are 40k elixir, plus all those miners at 6,000 a pop. You're not getting a lot of elixir on this strategy net gains, but you are getting obviously 100% net gains on dark elixir. That's why it's a great farming strategy if you're Town Hall 10 or Town Hall 11, you're just working on maxing out your heroes or finishing up those dark elixir upgrades. Now, you can still use Mass Miner. It's a great way to get more familiar with the strategy. I use both of my heroes as sort of the funnel for this attack, and obviously you're going to make great gains both in Dark Elixir and Gold with this strategy, so that's when I would use this attack comp if you just want to get familiar with Mass Miner attacks to then use in Clan Wars, or if you want to get Gold and Dark Elixir gains. Pretty much a wash with Elixir on this attack, but of course we get that huge leak bonus. I don't know what I was doing with that poison spell there, but essentially with those mass miner attacks, I actually like bringing those 4 healers and creating one side of the funnel to keep my miners kind of grouped up together, as you saw on that replay there, and then I'll go into the mass miner using my king on the other flank, and then you guys just saw the replay. You guys know how to do a mass miner attack probably if you're Town Hall 11. Let's go ahead to the next replay here. It's going to be a mass bowler attack here. I don't normally use 4 Valkyries. I just cook those up to donate, or I gem those up to donate, and then they weren't needed. So normally this would be all bowlers instead of the 4 Valkyries. I'm going to start off here with a little bit of a bowler walk. Let's talk about this strategy, what it's good for here. Obviously with all these bowlers, it's a real dark elixir heavy strategy. So whether you're Town Hall 10 or 11, this works with level 2 bowlers for sure as well. But obviously against Town Hall 11 bases, you're much better off with the Grand Warden. That's the beauty of Town Hall 10 with the level 2 bowlers, is it's much easier to deal with just Inferno Towers with level 2 bowlers, and obviously it really comes in handy having that 3rd level on the bowlers for the Eagle Artillery. So here I'm just going to start off with the bowler walk, as you saw around 3 o'clock. Going to create a little bit of the funnel there with those bowlers, and then the rest of the troops come into the center here. You'll notice that I included giants in my clan castle. I am including those level 8 giants in the clan castle now. Even I prefer that over a golem, I think, on any attacks here, especially out in the wilds, just because those extra what is it, 160 hit points or so between the level 7 and level 8. I think that kind of puts it over the top in terms of the usefulness of the Giants versus the Golem on these attacks. Now, this was definitely not a picture-perfect attack. Obviously, you don't have time to plan for these attacks, but you can see I use my Giants early on with the Rage spell to help funnel the rest of the bowlers into the core of the base. I'm going after primarily Elixir instead of Gold here, so on all these attacks, you'll see that I prioritize Elixir gains over Gold gains, especially with this strategy. The reason I would use this attack comp as opposed to Mass Miners is pretty obvious, right? Obviously, you guys saw the upgrades that I'm targeting here. I'm saving up for my Baby Dragon in Elixir, and I'm also saving up for my my level 8 Giants in Elixir, so I'm really prioritizing Elixir right now, so I really prefer a DE heavy farming army, because obviously I have no use for Dark Elixir, so I really prefer these Dark Elixir armies if you have max heroes. If you don't have max heroes, if you're working on upgrading your King and Queen still for whatever reason, then you can go ahead, and I really prefer Mass Miners. Even if you only have level 3 Miners, anything lower than that, then I would probably hold off and do a strategy that I'll bring you guys in just a bit. But look at this attack comp here. You can see it's a old school LavaLoonion here, and I love this strategy if your heroes are upgrading. Now, I obviously don't have upgrading heroes here, but it's very easy. I love using the clone spell as well. Not all of you have the clone spell upgraded, but if you want to try this comp, try it out. I think you guys will have a lot of success with it. It's using 3 haste spells right off the bat on the entry point, and then you use your 1 rage spell in the core. You use your clone spell to clone your closest balloons to the core of the base. Let's pause here and take a look here. You see, a lot of the balloons went over to the east, but then those few balloons that were heading over to the core of the base, to the center, I cloned those balloons, and they're going to stay alive just for enough time to take out the core of this base. Now, obviously, my heroes aren't upgrading, so I'm going to use them up north. One note on this attack here is I actually forgot to set my Grand Warden to air. Normally, he would be with the Lava Hound and the balloons, and I would use him just before they get to the core of the base as well. But you can see, even without using my Grand Warden on the actual air portion where he should have been, I was still able to make quick work of this base here, getting pretty much all the loot. A little bit of elixir left on the table here, but my Grand Warden actually, if I remember correctly, helps me out towards the very end here, sniping that elixir collector from afar there, so it actually worked out for me. So yeah, LavaLoonion, I would really recommend using this strategy. It's obviously a pretty neutral cost strategy. You have some Dark Elixir costs, you have some elixir costs. I prefer it with that clone spell like I told you guys about. If you don't have clone spell, just go ahead and use 2 rage and 1 or 2 freeze spells along with some haste spells, and you should be good to go here. This attack was actually pretty awful here against this Town Hall 10 base. I don't know why I didn't 3-star a Town Hall 10 using this Valkyrie strategy, but you'll still get the idea on what I like to do here. I start my Queen Walk around 9 o'clock. I actually make a couple of mistakes. I'll admit to raiding while at work here on my iPhone, and it's never a good thing when you do that, and I actually popped the Queen ability accidentally here in just a second, and that really caused me to pay for it, to suffer later on in this raid where my Queen dies all alone. So anyway, you can see I use a Baby Dragon to create one side of the funnel. The other side of the funnel is created by the Queen on the Queen Walk. It's kind of a Super Queen variation strategy here. I'm going to always use a poison spell on the enemy Archer Queen if I can think of it, if I can get it down fast enough there. And obviously I should have used a free spell right about now, but I was a little bit late on that. Actually, I wasn't late on the free spell. I used the Grand Warden ability, and you can see I just kind of get bad luck here. It's in terms of the Valkyries. They all die in this little compartment right here. They get caught up on that max wall, and they all die, and then my healers switch to my Golem, so that is no good, but it's still a great farming strategy using these mass Valks, especially at Town Hall 10. If you're Town Hall 10 and you're farming up elixir in gold, this would be my go-to strategy for golden elixir farming at Town Hall 10, because obviously, again, the army does not cost too much elixir. You're only using your healers, obviously, for the Super Queen portion of the attack and your spells. Other than that, I bring a couple wizards here and there, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Just bring a bunch of Valkyries. A mass Valk attack certainly works very well, especially against Town Hall 10 bases. So let's go ahead and play the next replay. You might be looking at this one and thinking, what the heck is this, 42% Ash? Well, it's a Pekka farming strategy for Dark Elixir concentrated attacks. Obviously, you're not going to be 3-starring any bases with this strategy, but it's a good alternative to the mass miner strategy if you don't have your miners upgraded. Now, I do have my miners upgraded, so I would never use this Pekka farming strategy, but this is actually a variation of the Pekka DE farming strategy I brought you guys for Town Hall 9 probably a couple months ago now, but it's very, very easy, right? You're using your Queen Walk to establish a really, really nice, clean funnel to the Dark Elixir, usually in the core of the base, the storage, the clan castle, the Town Hall, and sometimes the clan castle if you think there's loot in the treasury as well. But you can see I'm really relying on my queen right now to take out this entire compartment. She's going to slowly make her way over to 9 o'clock, and I'm creating a nice, easy funnel behind the queen for my Pekkas to have no choice to go anywhere other than the core of the base where that Dark Elixir storage is. So here's my first jump spell. My second jump spell is right there. There's that builder's hut, but it's not going to be a big deal. My healers are still alive. My queen goes down. Not the end of the world, because as I said, this is a Dark Elixir targeted farming strategy, meaning that your goal here isn't to take out the entire base. You just have a ton of elixir cost tied up on these Pekkas and all these wizards, and the goal is obviously just to target that Dark Elixir storage, and you're not going to get a better elixir-based army that's concentrated enough to get to the DE storage, even if it's really, really jam-packed into the core of the base like it is on this base here. And your Pekkas are always going to get there, and with that wizard support, man, you just have a lot of firepower there. I probably should have held off a little bit longer on that Grand Warden Eternal Tome ability, but either way, it's going to work out fine. I'm going to get 99% of, or 90% of the Dark Elixir on this base here. You can see I'm already over 4k. I have a couple wizards, or one wizard held back, along with a few minions. I'll use them to snipe some Dark Elixir storages that are closer to the exterior of this base. My Pekka is still alive, by the way, taking some Dark Elixir to try to recoup some of their heavy, expensive cost, and now I have 4,580 Dark Elixir, make it close to 4,800 DE, plus the bonus. I'm looking at a lot of Dark Elixir, over 6,000, almost 6,000 gained with the bonus, so that is really, really nice. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and put on the last replay of my most recent bowler attack, and in the meantime, I just want to talk in general about farming at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11. I don't bring a ton of videos because the nice thing is with these farming strategies is even if you want to use a cheaper farming comp such as goblins or goblin knife, or even using giants and wall breakers old school with healers, or even using Barch or Bam, you can do it at Town Hall 10 and 11 if you go into low leagues and you look for collector raids. Now obviously the lower you go, the less Town Hall and 10 and 11s will be down there, but you will also find more collector raids where you can use those cheaper attack strategies. If you're anything like me with my playstyle, I advocate going as high a league as possible where you can comfortably maintain trophies, and then you can take benefit of that bonus as well. That's for people who only attack a few times a day to up to, 7 or 8 times a day. Basically people who aren't boosting for 30 or 40 attacks per day. In those cases, I would go low in league. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. You can see I just gemmed the finish time on my very first level 14 Archer Tower. I won't be doing that again as that would cost me a lot of money, but you guys can see the DPS is pretty substantially higher than the level 13 Archer Tower. Let's see them side by side. You can see 98 to 110, so it's a significant gain in DPS for sure. Can't wait to see all these maxed out Archer Towers in my entire base being maxed out, guys. Hopefully we'll see how long it takes me. Hopefully it's within maybe, I don't know, I want to set a goal of maxed out base by September. That's going to be my goal. So guys, we'll see if I can do it. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it, guys. And as always, take care, guys.